Let's get ready to rumble! Y'all ready for this?
From the bench, kicks off in 3, 2, 1, now.
Good morning, Naples. I'm Petty Officer Darby Ortega here from the bench, and we weren't here last week, but we are back this week. Right now it's 8:10 in the morning. And how are you doing today, Chris?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. Ready to talk some football?
Some football, because it's almost there. We're at the end. It's Super Bowl week after finishing up what is probably the lamest, in my opinion, all-star game of all the major sports, and that is the Pro Bowl, which has happened this weekend. But we just want to get people caught up on, if you are possibly living in a shed out in the woods somewhere or on a mountaintop and or you're locked out from society, that we do have the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Denver Broncos in the Super Bowl.
And I mentioned you in a comment last week once we knew who were the teams going to the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. We were half right and half wrong, both of us, because we were both going for 49ers and Broncos, and then you were going for the Seahawks and the Patriots.
I was, and it ended up being we were both half right. The Patriots looked absolutely awful in the game against the Broncos, and Peyton Manning looked absolutely amazing in that game. I don't know why I keep picking against him all season long. I picked against him quite a bit, but there was some. They really just handed it to New England. Anybody who watched the game, it wasn't really ever close necessarily. There was a couple plays that have been kind of controversial. For instance, in that game, the Wes Welker illegal pick, which I think what's crazy about the play was Wes Welker takes out the stud defensive back for the Patriots. Some say illegally, some say not. It was a pick play. It's a pick play that usually gets a penalty. There wasn't, and after a penalty had already been called on the New England Patriots. But in the long term, it did hurt them not having their defensive back. But Peyton took care of business. And then in the other game is the one that the Seattle Seahawks versus the San Francisco 49ers that has all the talk. You may have heard of an individual if you're listening to the radio show today, Richard Sherman. Likes to talk smack, likes and is good at it. And one of the funny things, and I don't remember where I saw it. I saw it on Facebook, and I also had a friend tell me this. Richard Sherman looks like Booker T from the WWE.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean,
I'd never thought of it, and yeah.
I mean, he really, really, really looks like Booker T, and which makes it even funnier, because you could take his rant at the end of the game where he completely caught Erin Andrews off guard. She had no idea, and she looked ridiculous at that moment because she didn't know what to say. And but you could take that and use it as a WWE promo. Like for WrestleMania or the SummerSlam or Royal Rumble or any of those. And wow, did I just sound like I follow wrestling a lot, which I absolutely do not. So Seattle in that game, the Seattle-San Francisco game was a great game. And a couple weeks ago on the show, I talked about that I thought whoever won the AFC game was going to possibly win the Super Bowl because of the experience. NFC Championship game was pretty good, and now I'm kind of leaning the other way.
It's funny, though, because you just said that you're always up against Peyton Manning, and now you're taking the other side again.
I know. Every time he does this to me. And this is, by the way, and I should have checked this before, this is Super Bowl, those that like the Roman numerals, and considering we're right south of Rome, it's Super Bowl XLVIII, which I believe we'll have to research that a little bit because I know it's something 8. I think it's either 38 or 48.
How many?
It's XLVIII.
Okay, yeah, I don't know that. But okay, sure.
we should have looked that one up.
Yeah.
So, but no, as we were talking about, so that sets up the Super Bowl matchup that number one defense versus number one offense, with Peyton Manning leading the number one offense, and the defense led by Richard Sherman taking it on. And, I mean, we got so much to talk about with the Super Bowl, because it's going to possibly be one of the coldest Super Bowls ever, because it's in New York City. Actually, it's in New Jersey.
Is it New Jersey?
I take that back. It's in New Jersey. Everybody keeps saying it's in New York, and you got to feel bad for New Jersey, though.
I've seen a lot of those posts from like native New Jerseyans that are like, I don't ever recall ever living in New York. I live in New Jersey, and that's where the Super Bowl is. So
Jersey.
You got to realize that. I'm just like, you know what? You be proud of your state.
Well, and that's the funny thing is, though, that you look at all the commercials, everything. It's in New York. That's what they're saying. It's in, it's Super Bowl's in New York. You don't hear anybody, And granted, we're limited in, in our TV of what we get and that kind of stuff. But I think that it's, the advertisements have to be the other way, and it is. I found it. It is Super Bowl 48.
48. Okay.
48. Super Bowl 48. So that will be quite amazing. So, as we were saying, the Richard Sherman, Peyton Manning going to New York. They're going to be playing in Eli, which is funny. So they're going to Eli Manning's home stadium, and Eli said he's going to help his brother out. So, and Eli Manning didn't have a great year, but he has won a couple Super Bowls. So this weekend was kind of a dead weekend for pro football, because it was the Pro Bowl, and they did it different this year. Instead of having an AFC and an NFC team, and where the best AFC players played against the best NFC players, what they did is they took the players that made it, were voted in, and then they had Deion Sanders and Jerry Rice pick out of those guys their teams. So they had a mix of AFC and NFC game. And ultimately, I was just reading up on this because I did not watch this game, because it's a scrimmage, but it's just not fun for me. It's not fun to watch. A lot of other people might like it. I don't. But Team Rice won 22-21 on DeMarco Murray's last second. It was 41 seconds left in the game. Had a 20-yard touchdown, which then Mike Tolbert had a 2-point conversion plunge, and they ended up winning the game. And Justin Tucker from the Baltimore Ravens missed a 67-yard field goal to end the game. But when we come back, we're going to give our picks.
Okay. But
we want to talk about Super Bowl parties, some of the possible fun that you can have at a Super Bowl party when you're coming up with, not money-wise, because we don't encourage gambling, but different kinds of bets you can do, like on what happens during the game, but also talk about Super Bowl commercials and Super Bowl halftime shows.
All right, then. Stick around. We got more football-related news and information coming your way, but right now, Story of My Life by One Direction. We're back on From the Bench, and
appropriate from the bench.
Yes, we were having a little giggles off air, but you know.
I don't giggle, I laugh.
You giggle.
Do not giggle. All right, so we're talking about Super Bowl parties, and everybody's probably getting ready for theirs. It's a little bit different here, and when you're overseas, because we're going to be watching the game crazy early in the morning.
Yeah, I think it kicks off at like 12:30 or something.
Yeah, that's when the it starts. They start talking about the pregame. The pregame starts going on. But here, like last year, I watched it at the bowling center at Strikers. A bunch of us got over there, taking care of it. And you just start watching the pregame, and you get all jazzed up, and you have all the foods. But at your homes, this is like, depending on where you live in the States, or where you come from, I should say, in the States, I think drives what's at your Super Bowl party for food. Like you talked about it, I think it was 2-3 weeks ago, that you had different food than necessarily I would. Like for us in the Midwest, it was always chili. And it was like, okay, who's going to have the best chili or the hottest chili? And then you'd always have chips, and then you always have, especially in Iowa, a lot of times you'll have the wrapped pickles. I don't know if you've ever had those.
No.
It's beef wrap pickles. Like you take you cut up pickles into kind of like thick slices, like round slices. And then you put cream cheese and then you take a piece of beef and wrap that around the pickle, and they're like these little like appetizers. Oh my gosh, they're so good. Actually, our wedding, they made actually a special tray for Vanessa and the bridesmaids and stuff. It was awesome. I mean, of course they brushed their teeth before the wedding, but just saying. So you got chili, you got snacks. I mean, buffalo wings with ranch, or are you a blue cheese?
No, ranch.
Ranch.
I like anything buffalo flavored. Sometimes they have like buffalo flavored dips.
Right. Yes, that's a new thing. I mean, I don't know how new, but that seems to be a popular thing that's now people are bringing to parties. Like they put it in a crock pot.
Yeah.
Buffalo chicken, kind of like, and it's like I've seen buffalo chicken soup.
Yeah, I've seen it too. I haven't tasted it, but I love anything buffalo.
Yeah.
Or ranch.
And if you were Jessica Simpson's, you would think that everything comes from a buffalo.
Do you remember that commercial?
I do remember the commercial because I also remember when she was married to Nick Lachey and it came up on their show. With all the press it generated because she said that, I didn't realize, but, what did she say? Like, well, buffaloes don't have wings.
Really?
Yeah.
I remember the big, is it tuna or is it fish?
Yeah, she did that too.
Is it chicken or is it fish?
Right, because chicken from the sea.
Yeah.
Yes, she did that as well.
Wow.
So what's your favorite Super Bowl food? Because you had said one a couple weeks ago, I think. I can't remember what it was.
I don't think I said anything. I like chicken wings. I'll eat anything chicken wings.
Anything
but it has to be
wings?
like buffalo flavored.
Well, so you're not. So if you go to like one of the restaurants in the States and you order buffalo wings,
yeah,
you're getting the buffalo wing sauce. You're not getting like the honey spice or the barbecue sauce, or you're getting the. Are you a mild, hot, or super hot?
It's like a medium.
Okay.
Because I want to enjoy my chicken wings and not be like crying.
Right. But you use ranch.
Yes.
Then do you eat the celery sticks too?
No, I don't like celery.
You don't like the celery?
No.
Mark that one off.
All right, so you want to talk commercials from past Super Bowls, right?
Commercials, Super Bowl commercials. And we were talking that we've talked about there's a little bit of an age difference between the two of us.
Yes.
And there are some that you may not remember. Budweiser frogs. Do you remember that? It was the three frogs. And they were sitting out in their swamp, but it was one would say Bud, and the next one Y, and the last one Zer, and that was a huge hit. Now, I mean, they actually made oh my gosh, so much money because they sold the frogs, they sold T-shirts, and it was, I don't know, it'd be interesting. I don't know how many years it was around, but they kept coming back from year to year, and they'd put them in different situations.
Yeah.
Or were you around for the What's Up guys?
No.
You were not around. Are you kidding me?
I mean, maybe if I watched it.
Remember that What's Up? And they'd be calling? And that was the big thing that Monday, the annoying thing that Monday.
Oh, that sounds familiar.
And you would call and be like, What's up?
Okay, yeah, I don't remember the commercial, but I remember the after effects.
All right, the Clydesdales. I mean, all these. See, I mean, we're talking Budweiser had all the great commercials. Geico has some really good commercials.
Oh, I love Geico.
I really like the one, and I think it was maybe E-Trade that did it, where the guy, the old man sitting in a chair, and the monkey is dancing in front of him. And he's just dancing. The guy's like, I think he's like doing the drum or something. And then as soon as the commercial gets done, the thing across the screen says, "We wasted $1 million on this commercial," or "We spent $1 million on this commercial." Or there's the one that just puts like, I can't remember if it was a blank screen or just said their name and says, "Yeah, we just spent, this amount for this."
The one I do remember, and I think they started like they did like a whole campaign of it, is that guy that pretends to be a 16-year-old girl.
Whoa, I do not remember.
No?
No.
He's like driving and he's pretending to be like a 16-year-old girl. He's like, "Wow, I can't believe she just kissed him." And then she knew I liked him, and then he like bumps into a car. He's like, "Whatever," or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna have to look that up. I have
because then he did a bunch of them.
Now, one of the things that we talked about and if you're listening at home, or if you're listening on the podcast, maybe this will bring back some memories for you. But the old Bud Bowls that Budweiser did, and they started this where it was Bud versus Bud. I mean, it was crazy. They had the cans would play against each other in like these simulated games, and it would last like 3, 4, 5 commercials to where people started to actually bet on who is going to win these? And then, like, they would bring these new alcoholic beverages in from year to year. Like, if there was something new, you know, like the new can or the new bottle, that would come in and be like the ringer, you know, as you will. So,
Yeah.
a ton of good ones. Doritos does a good job with them.
Yes.
With
I think,
Allie Land, whatever her name was.
Oh, I don't know.
Like, they had the laundromat one where they're, you know, doing those kind of things.
I just remember the one where the little girl convinces her dad to play like tea time with her.
Yes, that is a good one.
Yeah.
That one is a good one as well. And but yeah, the commercials. I mean, the commercials are great. I mean, we can't even. There's so many good ones. And we were actually we were looking them up, and we don't get the best reception in the studio, so we were looking up because we're trying to watch and catch up on some of them. But one I had never seen that was funny was the Slug Bug commercial.
Oh.
And we
yeah.
just saw, and I can't remember what's the comedian's name.
He's the guy from
He's in 30 Rock.
yeah, he's
Tracy Morgan.
there.
Tracy Morgan. There it is. But he gets slug bugged by Stevie Wonder, and Tracy Morgan looks at him and says, "How did you do that? How did you even know to do that?" So that was comical. So commercials are good. But hey, I think it's time for a break.
Yes.
So when we come back, we're going to talk about Super Bowl halftime shows, as well as Super Bowl prop, not bets, just Super Bowl prop things that you can compete against during the Super Bowl with your friends at your awesome Super Bowl party.
All right, then stick around. Right now, I have Closer by Tegan and Sarah. We are back on From the Bench, and during our break, we actually got to watch some more Super Bowl ads.
Yeah, and this one was it was on YouTube, it was a top 10, and I don't know, because some of the top 10 ones I've seen of all time, those weren't on there, but there was some pretty good ones, because it reminded us of the Snickers ones.
Oh, yeah.
Of where, you know, whatever event it was, you know, this one happened to be the one where they're playing football in the mud, and the guy looks like
Betty White.
and they hand him a Snickers bar because they said, "You're playing like Betty White," and then he's not Betty White anymore. So that one was pretty fun. But it reminded me of the and you said you hadn't seen him, but the Office linebacker ones, and those are flippin' hilarious. So go out there, and it's always fun to go back on YouTube and look at the old Super Bowl commercials and get you laughing, because we started to laugh a little bit for a couple of those, and you can look up some of those old school ones.
Yeah.
You know, from back before you were born.
And I know, like, over here, watching the Super Bowl, we won't get to see them as the Super Bowl is going on. But probably the next day during our show, I'll be posting the string of them, which usually some websites will do.
Yeah.
They'll post a string, and it's just, like, consecutive
and
Super
a
Bowl
lot of
ads.
times, right after the game, you can find them.
Yeah.
I mean, and sometimes during the game, like, people just start posting them like crazy, and you know, people are getting previews. The word this year has been that they're going to be like a little bit risque.
Wow.
They always are, but the GoDaddy.com ones aren't going to be as risque as earlier years with Danica Patrick, and we'll see.
Is Danica Patrick out of
No,
the
she's
GoDaddy?
in them,
Oh, she's
but
in it? Okay.
they're not doing as risky as they once were. Yeah.
Have you heard? Because you know they usually do like a big movie trailer premiere.
Oh yeah.
I wonder what it's going to be this year.
I don't know. I haven't heard.
Yeah.
And usually, you know, they'll come out with. I think on Friday they usually come out with like what is the average like how much it costs per second.
Yeah.
You know, for the commercials, because every year, you know, it goes up in some crazy millions amount, because, you know, everybody's gonna be watching it. And honestly, this year it's gonna be more so because people are gonna. I mean, I'll be anxious to see what the crowd's going to look like in this game, because it's going to be flipping cold.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, cold. And ticket prices are actually lower than they've ever been for the Super Bowl right now. Now,
Because
granted,
Wow.
granted, there's still thousands of dollars, but a lot cheaper. Halftime shows.
Okay.
This year, it's going to be Bruno Mars and the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Mm-hmm.
They came on late. It was kind of like, oh, and by the way,
Well, because
Red Hot Chili
they were
Peppers.
offering a bunch of people a lot of money, and they were like, no.
Did you get offered as a part of the cutest couple on support site? Did you guys?
You're funny. No, I didn't. But I know they did offer Eminem. They
been all right.
offered. They offered.
Typically, they usually do.
I think they offered Kanye too, but
Oh darn!
yeah,
He
prima
can.
donnas.
Yeezus can do it, or
no,
whatever that. Man, seriously.
because then Kim Kardashian would have had to like show up on a motorcycle or something. Ridiculous. Anyway.
And they're, you know, and we were talking about Super Bowl halftime shows. Some are great, some are awful.
Yeah.
one of the more memorable ones, what may or may not have involved Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake.
Yeah.
And what then coined the phrase wardrobe malfunction.
Oh, wow. I didn't know it came from there.
That's where it came from.
I didn't watch that performance. I wasn't watching the Super Bowl that year.
How old were you in that year?
Young. I don't even know.
You were like in preschool or something?
Maybe.
It was crazy. And it was funny because it was one of those ones that as you watched it, I can remember watching that game, sit around with a bunch of guys, you see it happen, but you don't know what you just saw.
Yeah.
You're just like, whoa, what? What? No. And then everybody starts, talking about it and seeing it sure enough. And then
do you remember what teams played that game? That's crazy. You remember the halftime one?
I couldn't even tell you what year it was, but I don't even want to tell you what I remember.
You don't.
Get me in trouble. But yeah, sometimes they go overboard with it. For a while, the Rolling Stones played a couple years ago, and these acts keep coming back, and sometimes they're just absolutely ridiculous. This year, I'm kind of anxious to see how halftime is, because those guys are gonna be freezing.
Oh yeah.
And Bruno Mars is like 4'1". I mean, I think he's maybe a little bit shorter than you are.
Yeah, probably. I'm just kidding. Hopefully, he does like a '70s themed show.
With his sequins and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, like all his videos.
Yeah.
I like him for that.
He's going to be frozen.
Yeah.
But, no, halftime shows are good. And then last thing we're going to talk about the Super Bowl. First, we're going to talk about something. Then we're going to give you your pick of who's going to win it, because then we got some other things to talk about for sports.
Yeah.
Is that prop bets that can make a Super Bowl party fun that you can do is, and you could come up with something, like, okay, whoever picks these rights gets a coffee from, chock full of nuts, or gets a sandwich from the commissary, or, whatever you want to do. But, you do things like, okay, what the first play of the game is going to be a run or a pass. So everybody picks what it's going to be. Winner, whatever. Who's going to get the first touchdown? Both team and player. And you have to pick specific players.
Peyton Manning.
Well, all right. So you think Peyton Manning? Okay. So if you said Peyton Manning was going to get the first touchdown, obviously do you think he's going to pass it, or do you think he's going to run it?
I hope he runs it, but
You hope he runs it?
Yeah.
How many of those did he do this year? Not very many.
Yeah, but I hope he does it anyways, just to show that he's like the greatest player of all time.
Oh my gosh! You did it. There's only one reason, and one reason only, you think he's the greatest player of all time, is because he kept you competitive in fantasy football this year. I'll be anxious to see how his neck responds to the cold. Because this isn't just cold. This is cold. And with the Seattle, he has not faced his defense like this yet this year. But as we were saying, like who, how many interceptions are going to be there? Who's going to get the first interception? How long does it take till Richard Sherman talks smack on the field? What's the score at the end of the first quarter? What's the score at the end of the second quarter? What's the score at halftime? How many songs does Bruno Mars, sing at halftime? All things that you can do and become competitive with and have fun with. The kids can do it as well. Maybe the kids then get a special treat or something. Those kind of things. So, Richard Sherman, Peyton Manning. And then who's going to be the MVP of the game? You can pick that.
All right.
So Richard Sherman, Peyton Manning, Seattle Seahawks, Denver Broncos. Who you got?
Peyton Manning.
Okay, and the Denver Broncos, or are you just hoping Peyton Manning wins and the Denver Broncos don't?
No, Denver Broncos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go with Seattle. Lived up there for a while. 12th man is crazy. It's going to be a little bit different with this Super Bowl. I think that it might be a long time coming before we see another Super Bowl in New Jersey to do that. So we'll see. So when we come back, we are going to rip on the U.S. Olympics winter team opening ceremonies uniform outfit.
All right, because I got a lot to say. All right, stick around. Right now I have Best Day of My Life by American Authors. You just heard American Authors with Best Day of My Life. We are back with From the Bench with myself and Chris Kasparek, and we are here to talk about...
And you're her to what?
We're here to Turk.
Oh my gosh, now the studio smells.
Really? Like guacamole?
Yeah.
Like your eyes are crying.
No, that's not.
Does it make you emotional?
Because I was emotional. Well, I mean, I was sad this weekend. I saw a picture of you and your significant other, and somebody posted that you guys were the cutest couple on support site, and I thought that the From the Bench partnership was the cutest partnership.
I think
on
we're
space.
the toughest.
We're probably the toughest.
Like, I think if
Well,
like
you just flex.
yeah, I would like, you know, because if who was it? Sherman.
Richard Sherman.
If he was in that seat right now being interviewed, he'd be scared.
He would.
Yeah.
He'd be scared of you for sure.
Yeah.
Him and his Booker T impersonation would be awesome. So we're gonna talk about the Olympics. They're coming up. They're gonna be here. We'll talk about them even more so as we get closer. But the official, I don't know if you want to call it uniform or outfit is maybe more appropriate.
Yeah.
The official U.S. opening ceremonies outfit designed by Laugh Lauren. No, it is Laugher. Ralph Lauren was released, and the good thing is the athletes, they're going to get to go to the opening ceremonies in Sochi. But not only that, from this outfit, they're then going to win. They're not only going to possibly win a gold medal when they compete, but they're now going to be guaranteed a medal at any ugly sweater contest party that they go to.
Definitely.
Over the next however long they have these sweaters, they're awful.
They're not cute.
I'm sorry.
No, they're probably going to be wearing them this Christmas. The pants look like they remind me of like Hollister or like American Eagle pants, where they have like the print down the side,
right?
Like pajama pants. And then the boots, I don't even know what to say.
How many different patterns are on that sweater right there? Because we've got it up in front of us. Maybe next
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
maybe
6,
you can post
7,
it on Facebook later on the
8,
Facebook
9,
page.
10, 11, 12.
Yeah, and it's really stylish, and you got the hat, and it's pretty bad.
Yeah,
I don't know what Ralph's thinking.
I don't know either. I mean, he makes usually nice.
And I don't even want to know
clothes.
how much they are.
No.
Because they're
He's
just going to be
overpriced.
crazy. Yeah, they're going to be crazy expensive.
But what was your favorite Olympic uniform?
I liked, because we were looking at the winter. We were looking at the Winter Olympic uniforms during the break. I think it was that 2000, either that white coat, that one.
With the NSYNC hat?
I wasn't. Well, see, I think you could take pieces from different.
Yeah.
It's kind of like when you move into your house here in Italy. If you're living out in town and you go and you see crazy amount of houses, and then you live and you get your house, and then you end up going to other people's houses, like for different parties and different gatherings. Yeah. And you're like, oh, I wish I could take that from that person's house and this from this person's house would make the perfect house. I think with the Olympic uniforms, I would either like that jacket, which is the 2000.
This 2006 here in Turin, Italy.
Yeah, I'd either like the 2006 coat, or the not that one. You like this one. This is the
2010. I like the best.
You had like the blue one, but there was the other blue one that had the year on the front of the chest.
Okay, the 2002 Salt Lake City one.
Yeah, I like the 2002 Salt Lake City ones. Those aren't too shabby. I take the 2002 Salt Lake City hat.
Yeah.
And put that with the 2006 Turin coat.
Okay, I see that.
And that was Yeah.
Obviously my favorite is the 2010.
That one's not too bad. I don't mind
hat,
that.
I think it's cute. It has like mooses on it, or
mooses.
Moose. Okay.
Mooses.
English wasn't my best subject, but
so says the DJ.
Hands down, 1980 to 1998.
Oh, they're pretty awful.
They're bad.
They're pretty.
They had ugly hats.
They're pretty. You know what? I think this would be one of those fun things to give to a kid.
What?
Let them style.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, like next Olympics, let like a little kid.
Yeah, let a kid design it.
Yeah.
Or even like the Project One. My goodness, the Project Runway folks. Let them design it. Oh, yeah, that'd be neat. I mean, because I tell you what, no way with those sweaters. Because
no.
Because some of it is like they do like the Olympic merchandise that people can buy.
Yeah.
Let's do it to where it's actually something that people affordable, but two people would want to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, give me a break. So that's coming up. Olympics are just around the corner, which is very exciting. But we were talking about we know if anybody listens to the shows knows my obsession with the 30 for 30s that are done by ESPN, the different the little documentaries, short films, and they just did one, and I haven't had a chance to see it yet. But you did quite a bit of research on the 1994 drama that went along with the figure skating competition.
Yes, with Nancy Kerrigan and
Tanya Harding.
So I actually got to watch a couple of videos because I wanted to be completely, well, because I was like 2 or 1.5 when these games took place. So I don't.
You were 2 in 1994.
I was during the Winter Olympics. It was February, and I was born in July, so I was about 1.5. Yeah. Yeah. Anyways, we won't talk about that.
I won't talk about that. That was my freshman year in college.
And
thanks for that.
I was looking at some of the videos because I've been obsessing over figure skating lately, and Nancy Kerrigan, she was graceful. She was, you know.
She was graceful, but you know what? She wasn't a graceful crier.
I didn't.
When she get attacked, so you haven't? Have you watched any of the attack?
No.
All right, so that's what you got to go down and you got to watch that because the. I mean, and I'm not making light of it, but it was just like I just think that in life there are some people that are ugly criers.
Yeah.
She was an ugly crier, you know, and that whole drama between her and Tanya Harding now and what she's done, because for a while there, like Harding just. Once everything came on her, and then you had the like her life just went nuts, because then that's when you had celebrity fights. I don't remember, like celebrity boxing matches and stuff. Tanya Harding became one of those. Like she was getting it because she had no money.
Yeah.
You know, and then Kerrigan, she kind of fell off as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was.
Well, I heard she's doing figure skating, like commentating.
Yes.
So that's what she's doing for this Olympics. But like something I read and. That wasn't.
It's hard to believe it's 20 years ago.
Yeah, almost.
Crazy.
Yeah, but they were talking about how they didn't play or play what Tanya Harding actually went to. Like, so they downplayed that her husband was, like, they made it seem like Tanya was the one that planned it and Tanya was the one that let it happen. Yeah, she did let it happen, but apparently she was having a lot of problems with her husband. Her husband was very overbearing, and so he pretty much told her, you're going to let this happen, and so.
Yeah, I remember briefly how that all, you know, there was a lot of stuff, but the thing is, she did know.
Yeah.
She did let it happen, and she was willing to benefit from it if she had won the medal. So, but yeah, that's the new 30 for 30, so check that out. Some other sports things that have come up, just to remind, the Australian Open, if you're a tennis fan, was going on these last couple weeks, and people really don't know a whole lot about it because the popular names were out pretty early.
Yes.
In the women's game, in the women's side, in the men's game, Nadal and Federer ended up going to the semis. They played each other. Nadal took care of business, straight sets, which hardly ever happens against Federer. And then Nadal then lost. I take it back. That was the quarterfinals, because then no, that was the semis, because then Nadal went to the finals, and he lost to Wawrinka was his name. Something that it just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
And then in the women's game, Li Na won the Australian Open. And then some golf news. First tournament of the year, and guess who didn't make the cut? Tiger Woods. Shot a 79 on the second day, not to make the cut.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff. Super Bowl. So you're gonna do a Super Bowl party? You gonna watch the game?
No, I'll probably just go to like the ones that I think MWR might be hosting.
Yeah. MWR, we're doing some stuff.
Yeah.
And, but you're gonna watch the game.
Yeah, probably.
Late, early? Are you going to stay up for it?
Probably. I'll probably watch the first half and then, like, watch Bruno Mars and then probably go to sleep.
Because Bruno Mars will probably come on at, no kidding, 2:33 in the morning?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I'm a really big baby when it comes to sleep. So,
yeah, I know. People at home probably know, too, because, you know, days that you don't get sleep, it takes you a while.
You've seen me when I, like, don't go to sleep on Sundays. The next day when we have, like, our show, I'm, like, really grumpy.
Not good. But one of the things that we will do next week's show is we will have people vote on what they thought were the best commercials on the AFN Facebook
Yes,
page. You know, come
definitely.
up with what they thought were the best commercials, what they thought were the best moments of the game. Was it a good game? Because that's all I'm hoping for. As a sports fan, really all you're hoping for is a great Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So go Seahawks. Your turn for the Broncos. And one of us will win and one of us will lose.
Yeah. And one thing, no one out there might be seeing this, but I've been looking at it the whole entire show. Chris has a tie on.
Oh, yes, I do today. That doesn't happen very often, does it?
No, but it's like a Hawkeye's tie.
Go figure, right?
Yeah.
My obsession. I'm kind of all Hawkeyed out today.
Yeah, and I'm just kind of like, I didn't know they sold ties. Like, I know they had a lot of, like...
stuff?
Yeah.
Like sport? Oh, you can get... I mean, we could even probably get your obsession, your sports, soccer. I mean, you could get a soccer tie. Put one on those bad boys and on your significant other, man.
I don't know.
You guys go from, like, cutest to whoa cutest. I'm just saying.
You're the worst.
I hope he listens to the podcast. Or maybe I don't. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
It's not my fault. I'm just speaking the truth, right? I mean, it must be
If it was
true.
posted on Facebook.
If it's posted on Facebook, it must be true.
Yes. Just like Justin Bieber's arrest.
Oh, man. Don't even get me started on Justin Bieber's
All right.
arrest.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our show today. Coming up next, Domino by Jesse J. And tune in next Monday for our post-Super Bowl show.
Go Seahawks.
No.